Hey everybody, I'm here. I'm Meg from LovenStamps, and this is Maker Mornings with Meg. And it is Wednesday. I have a really fun project to share with you guys. It is going to bring out your inner artist. I don't know if you ever, as a kid, did sun printing, where you had like a special paper and you would take it out of the closed package where no light was in it. You'd put something fun on top of it, like a flower or whatever toy, and then you'd take it out in the sun, leave it for a while, you bring it in, you'd have to do like a water bath, there were chemicals involved. Anyway, that whole project was called cyanotyping, cyan, like being blue. And Stampin' Up! Has made it super easy for us to just skip over all the messy, hassly chemical water bath steps, and has come out with a paper that has the look of cyanotype, all ready for us to go. So here is the Sun Prints Designer Series paper, which is very beautiful with all these deep blues and gorgeous colors. And I am going to use it along with a Nature's Print stamp set, so this one here, to show you a really fun card today that is also a watercolor technique. So we're going to do some watercolor block printing. We're going to use our Sun Prints paper and the Nature's Print stamp set. So lots of fun things going on today, and woohoo! Hey, Deborah, I'm glad you got here early. Hi, Carol and Kathy and everybody. Let's see, I think, hey, Tanya. I'm gonna go ahead and flip our camera down, and we are going to get started. Today's card is just gorgeous and really makes the most of these pretty papers. So let's get you guys settled here, and there we go. Okay, so for our starting point, we are going to go ahead and use, like I said, the Nature's Print stamp set. The paper that we're going to use to do our block printing is the fluid watercolor paper. And you really want, this is the Fluid 100 watercolor paper. The link is in the video description for this. But you really want to have a watercolor paper for doing this kind of block printing, because it's going to take, it's going to absorb the water and blend and just be really beautiful all together. And you don't need really any special tools for this. I have my Stampin' Spritzer, which is just a water sprayer kind of thing. The barrel unscrews and you can fill it with all kinds of different things for different techniques, but I've just got it with plain water right now. In the past, I also have had my Stampin' Mist handy, and I've used my Stampin' Mist to spray for things like this. But then you probably want a box of tissues, and you're going to need some ink pads. So, oh, pardon me for super 1 second. We have a puppy who wants to come in from outside. Come on, puppy. It is so hot here today and yesterday. It was the final band concert of the year in the unair-conditioned gym auditorium at my kids' high school. And it was like the hottest day of the year, of course, to have a fabulous indoor concert with hundreds of people. So I don't blame her for not wanting to be outside. Okay, so I've cut my paper down. This size here is actually 3 1/8 by 3 1/8. But you could size it to fit any kind of block that you're using. And we are going to go ahead and start with the lightest color. So I've got my D block here, and I'm going to just open my pad and do a direct to block kind of technique. So I've got it at one end, and I'm just gonna do kind of a couple times on there so that I get a decent amount of ink. This is a technique that doesn't have a super specific look to it. It has a lot of flexibility. So you're gonna wanna embrace your inner artist. Okay, now I'm doing Pacific Point, and I'm kind of doing a little bit of an angle so that I'm not printing the whole block all the way down. I've kind of, let's see, I maybe add a little more there, leaving the bottom just a little bit off. You can see there's even a line there. It really doesn't matter. It's gonna all come out splendidly in the end. And then I've got Night of Navy as my last color, because it's gonna be a great combination here for our to show off this print. Now, you are going to pick up a little ink from the block when you press your stamp pad onto there, which is why you definitely want to start with the lightest color and then go dark as you move along. Okay, let's see, I'm gonna set that aside. Now, on my block here, I want to wet the ink to really let it flow a little bit. And this is where your inner artist comes out, and the look you're going for can vary. There's no right answer or wrong answer. I'm gonna go ahead and, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and put a piece of cardboard on here so that I can absorb some of the extra water that's gonna be involved. Otherwise, get kind of a messy spot here. So I'm going to go ahead and set this here. So this is just to absorb some extra water, and I'm gonna spritz my block. Now, you can probably see here, this is quite dense with ink. So I'm just gonna take a tissue and I'm gonna do one quick little press because that color is really dark. And then I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna spritz it one more time. And I'm going to bring this here and press it down on my block. I guess I spritzed it a couple more times. One more time as in again. Now, when you get to this point, you can look through your block, which is one of the beauties of clear blocks, and you can see how much ink transfer you're getting and how much spread you're getting. And I would really like to have more color on there. So I'm going to, and more water spread. So I'm going to pick up my block and I'm going to ink it again, or spritz it again. And then I'm going to press it in the same spot. And so now, there we go. See how I have a full water spread under there that looks like watercolor? These colors are gonna blend really well together. There's some spot over here that's a little different texture, but I love that. And then I'm gonna pick it up and it's gonna be scary for a second because, blah, gotta have those like dark spread lines. I'm just gonna blot it like once or twice. And did you see that on there? It was kind of fast, but there was like a place where the water collected on one side, and the fluid watercolor is great. It's a really tough paper, and it gives you a second that you can just dab that away with a tissue so that you don't have big splotchy spots. Okay, now you could do this totally differently. Here is a different shape block that I did with the very same technique. Here is this block here where I spritzed the paper and had wet paper and then did a first printing of the block on there. So you can see there's lots of technique options, and you can just experiment with them, and really they all come out great. There's no right or wrong answer, so you gotta do what makes you happy. But I'm gonna give this a second to dry because I want to stamp on this, which is one of our awesome things about rubber stamps and ink. But I don't want the next stamp to bleed, so I'm gonna leave that there and come back to our card. I have a Pacific Point card base here, and so this is just a regular size. And then from the Nature's Print papers, I cut the one that looks like this and went ahead and, let's see, yeah. Do I have this one here? Like trying to match them all up. Anyway, okay, so I cut this one and am putting it here on our card front, and then we're gonna go ahead and layer this like so. But I feel like we need a little bit of transition between this print and our plain cardstock. So you know my favorite thing to do there is to bring in a piece of just neutral cardstock. So I've got Night of Navy, and see how it just eases the transition there between the Pacific Point and the print paper. There's just it's an abrupt change there, and it's a much nicer transition like that. And so I cut my designer paper just a teeny bit smaller than, about 1/8 of an inch smaller than I cut the cardstock layer. And so we're gonna go ahead and pop this on here. All right, now you could, of course, lay this flat if you wanted to and just adhere it directly to the card base, but I'm gonna go ahead and pop it up on dimensionals, which gives us that extra little visual shadow line around the edge and adds really to our kind of our play on light here. This card is all about sunny days and summer. Okay, so we have our layers there set, and this is pretty well dry here. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in our stamp, And this is the largest of the stamps from the New Nature's print stamp set. One of the things I love about this set is the greetings. They are just a really fun set of fonts. And since they're mixed, a script and a block print, you can really get away with using them for lots of different things. They coordinate with so many different stamp sets. So I'm going to go ahead and take back our darkest pad here, which is Night of Navy. I'm going to ink this up. And I am going to stamp this off to the side here of our black print. Okay, now, when you're working with a fluid watercolor paper, it takes a little extra time sometimes for the ink to transfer really smoothly. So you'll see that I am just holding my block on here. I'm not pressing or rocking. That's a no-no with stamping. I'm just pressing it a little bit longer to make sure that my ink has a really good time to transfer on there, okay? And you can see how this fine shaded image really is complemented nicely by that watercolor. So it's a really super fun arty kind of look, which doesn't take a lot of supplies extra. I mean, you have extra blocks around, so use them, but gives you a really cool effect. So we need a greeting on here, and I just got done telling you how much I love the greetings in this set. So I'm gonna go take this hello there greeting here and stamp it. And just the Stampin' Up, you cannot beat red rubber Stampin' Up images, just Stampin' Up images in general, but especially red rubber for super clear stamp images. And then I have our stylish shape styes. There's a couple missing from here because I've used them. I'm gonna go ahead and take this middle one here, and they're just on my project counter over there. They're not like gone or anything. Whew, scary, right? So I'm gonna take this second largest size here and die cut our circle, and through the magic of television, we have this really sweet stitched line embellishment. That little stitched line just really adds so much in the sort of finished look of our card. So we're gonna pop this on here. But you guys know me, I really like to have kind of a horizontal line to anchor something. And I will show you on page 91 in here, there are some great samples of this set, and they love a horizontal line too. So look at, so here's our greeting and then a horizontal line behind it. This card has our greeting and a horizontal line behind it. This card has our greeting and a horizontal line behind it, right? So whatever you're doing, it really helps to anchor. Even this one, you know, has some horizontal line with an anchor behind it kind of element. So yay, great minds think alike. So I have another piece of the designer series paper. Of course, the back sides of these give you all these more neutral print options. And I'm gonna grab this one and pop it on here, think like so, and go ahead and adhere these elements. So to make it easy for myself with this narrow horizontal line, I'm gonna go ahead and look at it from the front to make sure that it's pretty straight, and then I just pinch it in my fingers, flip it to the back side, and pop a couple Stampin' Dimensionals on, so then they're automatically attached, okay? That is going to go here on the front of our card. And then this element here, I'm gonna go ahead and do with my just adhesive to go flat. Now, here's a word about Stampin' Seal. Sometimes people find, and I do too, that when I roll this on my paper, it picks up a layer of the paper or the cardstock, okay? What I know is that if I don't press so hard, I don't break the fibers on the top of the cardstock, and it's much less likely to pick up. It does not take a long, a hard roll on this to use this adhesive. It just takes a touch. Oh, see now, and it's not working. Okay, so when that happens, I'm gonna go forward it just a teeny bit and forward it a little more. And then I'm gonna start in a different spot, and I'm just gonna roll across here. So of course, now that I've talked about it, it's like making a mess for me, but part of the issue with a watercolor paper is that it is really soft and it is wanting to pick up. So there we go. All right, so just go slow and I promise it works. There we have our layer here to pop on. And we are going to, I think, need some bling on here. What do you guys think? And good morning to everybody who said good morning. Let's see, Margie and Sue and Pam and Kathy and everybody. There is a wide array of options here for the bling that we use on our cards. So I think something like white maybe. So right here are the new heart pearls. Of course, we have our opal rounds, which are good for lots of things. I have the, let's see, here's some opal rounds. I have an option of the iridescent rhinestones for a little bit more blingy kind of look. Choices. You know, I kind of like these heart pearls. They're really subtle. So they are subtle because they're not like super cutesy heart shape. They're heart shape, but you might not notice right away. The opal pearls would be really pretty too, but I'm gonna go with these and pull out my take your pick tool just to make it easy for us, of course. And there's 3 choices in here. There are a couple of choices. Are these different? Yeah. I think they're a little bit different. So we have the pearly ones, or I have kind of the white ones. And I think the pearl is too much for this card, so I'm going to go with these ones up here. And on the blue background, they have just a really great kind of effect here. So now let's snag this one, which flipped itself over. There we go. And pop this one on down here. So I've got 3 little hearts there to finish off our card. So they kind of look like pearls, but if you look close, then you'd notice they're hearts. So it's just sort of a subtle, you know, heart kind of message to add to our card. So the other thing that's included in this suite is the fern embossing folder, which is also gorgeous. And I wanted to show you one more sample, which is inspired by a card created by Leanne Greff. And wait, where's my sample? Oh, here it is. Inspired by this card that Leanne made, and she used this watercolor print technique with a different stamp set. And but I really, really liked it. And here's my card based more closely on hers. And if you can see, I don't know how well you can see in the background, there is a print of the fern in the background of the card. I think if I don't move it for a second, you might be able to see it pretty well. So you can, of course, take that and add it. So this card, I didn't have the designer series paper background, so I really kind of liked having the fern folder to add some extra texture. This card, I chose not to use it because this is a lot of texture and print in the background, and I didn't think that I needed that texture on our watercolor block print also. So, but 2 options certainly for how you can use these pieces. So, all right, wow. Well, that was actually a pretty quick video there for a fun technique. But I hope that you guys will think about doing something a little bit different with your blocks. So you have the extras, pull them out and do things. There's so many ideas for this. I could see a card where, you know, you printed your blocks and then had like multiple blocks on the front of your card with like different images on each, sort of like a 4-square thing. You could overlap them for a cool technique. There are just a lot of different ways to use your inks and your clear blocks to do some really fun block printing. The Stampin' Spritzers are a fabulous tool for just really nice light water spritzing, and they come 2 to a package. They're just a couple of dollars, so think about adding these the next time you order. And this new Nature's Print stamp set is destined to be one of my favorites. Among the demonstrator swaps, it was one of which there were a lot. So, oh, Tanya says she wants to give this a try, but she has to get the watercolor paper first. The watercolor paper does make a difference. You can go ahead and try it with regular basic white cardstock too. You just get a different effect for sure. So, and we're embracing our inner artist, right? So it's okay either way. All right, guys, we'll have a super fabulous day. If you need supplies, the link is in the video description. I didn't talk about the in-color starter kit today, but don't forget that if you are super keen on the new in-colors, you can get them all as part of the new demonstrator starter kit and for free, which is always awesome. So, all right, everybody, have a fabulous day. I'll be back on Friday with another Maker Mornings with Meg project. and I look forward to seeing you then. Happy stamping!